At NGIS, we're all about enabling enterprises. So, from a geo perspective, if there's any geospatial analysts in the room, I do apologise, but really the biggest challenge a business have is getting geospatial out of the dungeon. Generally, a geospatial analysis team will sit in the darkest corner of the room. So really the challenge that we have, hence I say I've got one of the best jobs in the world, is going around talking to the business about getting not only their geospatial data, but their business data out of that dark room and to start to use it. It's all about connecting with the right people to make better decisions, optimise your people and assets, and sure, you can build some amazing apps as an outcome from that, but it's about getting that business data out, sharing it anywhere, anytime. So a lot of the things I'm going to talk about today, it's all about browser agnostic. I don't really care whether you like a Mac or a Windows machine, whether you're an Android lover or an Apple lover. It's irrelevant to us really. As long as you've got a browser, we can get you working. And once again, the key message is locate and visualise your information. So the group of products that Google actually give us to market, I'm just going to touch on that very quickly, then I'll remove the sales pitch from it. But Google Maps for Business, you've heard Perry talk a lot about. Google Maps Coordinate, which is all about, it's an off-the-shelf product that Google's actually just launched. We've had a number of folks sitting on this as trusted testers, but it's a job management system out of the box. And something that NGIS has been reasonably successful, if I can sound arrogant, in delivering, in particular in this region, is Google Earth Enterprise. So this is your own globe that we populate with your own and some other third-party data. And look, something that's become probably in the last 8 to 9 months very apparent is Google's platform play. And that's simply using Google's infrastructure to process, disseminate your own data and get it into the marketplace. So look, Google are the world's second largest server manufacturer globally, and that's for their own consumption, which the processing power is just sensational. So how does it all work? Let's just talk a little bit about Google Earth Enterprise. So you've got your traditional, down the left-hand side of the screen, you've got your traditional spatial data, imagery, terrain, and vector. There is a box missing, and that is your business data. That's your CRM, your SAP. And what we do is we put that into the machine, Google Earth Enterprise, and we then publish your data via a public globe that you make accessible to the public, or of course a private globe. And we can then view that as a 2D map or through an API or through a browser or again through a client. So we have, in particular in defence, NGIS, we have a number of clients that have this set up. However, it doesn't touch the internet. It's all completely behind their firewall. With regard to the platform play, look, it's just the same thing in layman's terms, but it's using that Google infrastructure as a lever rather than traditional steel virtualized servers or servers sitting either in your data center or your supplier's data center. And once again, the federated model is something we've had a great deal of success on this side of the world, in particular with state government in Australia, where we cluster or group authoritative sources of data. In lands, for example, regardless of what we think, who has the piece of paper with the land title on it? It might have been drawn back in the 1800s, but that is the point of truth. During litigation, that's what we reach for. So we're able to reach into those organisations, federate them or bring them together, and then we're able to publish multiple globes. But more importantly, from an all-of-government perspective, they still have that single point of truth. So really, to set your globe up, it arrives empty. You've got an empty world. The first thing we'll do is we'll drape some imagery over there. Now we can use the imagery you see every day in google.com, or you can use your own imagery, or you can knit some of your imagery with some of our imagery with some of Google's imagery. It's completely up to you. Terrain, we then start standing things up. Once again, we have some terrain out of the box from Google, or you may have your own terrain. Now, historical imagery, the relevance of this, I'm not sure if you can put it into your own use case, but you've invested in imagery, use it. That's the key. So we have a number of clients that have a simple slider that enables them to go back and forth. Today we've been able to talk to a number of people in the telecommunications industry where they're actually really quite interested in how their project's processing, What is the difference between Monday and Tuesday this week? Base map data, yeah, sure, you can use the Google map, no offence, Perry, but you may have your own base map. Your base map may be different to Google's base map. You've invested in your GIS stack, your Esri or MapInfo or Oracle Spatial or Small World stack. That's your base map. You bring it in. Bring it into the globe. Remember, you start with a blank globe. And of course, yeah, 3D structures. There's a bunch of them out there now from a crowdsourcing perspective, or you may have your own. And finally, points of interest in the truest sense. When you've got over 1 billion plus users, generally these points of interest can be varied. They are moderated, but points of interest can be your points of interest. You know, points that are, and I'll go through some demos in a moment, points that are important to your business. It might be a manhole, it might be a building, it might be where a building was. And once again, not to labour the point, browser agnostic, all this can be published either through a group of APIs or browser agnostic. It's irrelevant, really. That's the key message, really. From a security perspective, once again, by default, you'll find Earth Enterprise will automatically lock into your existing security architecture. So, for example, if you're allowed to see the HR files today, you will see them tomorrow viewing the vehicle moving in real time through Google Earth if that's what you're doing. If you're tracking that staff member or you're interested in who's on that train, who's driving that train today. Just in closing, I guess, it's the importance of accurate and fresh authoritative mapping data and getting that out to your people, actually getting it out of the black hole. And just to really labour further on Perry's slide, simple, scalable, secure and accurate. I've left off customisable and global because they've been left off the slide now, I'm told. And look, at the end of the day, folks, it should be easy. There's no reason why it can't be easy. That's the key. That's the key I'd like to leave you with.